Instagram, which I still cannot figure out how to get to stream properly on Restream, and then live on LinkedIn, Facebook, X, Twitter, or whatever, everything else here. This is an interesting one. As Get Leverage continues to scale and grow, I am asked, how are you guys creating leads? This is a tough market, tough economy. How are you creating leads? Because it appears you guys are growing so fast, you have consistency. I'm wildly transparent. Anybody that knows me knows that I share all the things that I learned when it comes to sales and marketing, and why we built Get Leverage is to pull out the $5 an hour tasks that can help you, the founder, the chief revenue officer, the chief marketing officer, your sales and marketing team, do $500 an hour value creation. More strategy work, and more customer engagements, more lead generation, and ultimately more sales opportunities. Now, to get there, got to remove those $5 an hour tasks. Now, that's what we've done internally, and I'm going to share my screen in a second, and I'm going to show you and talk you through. We've been in business for under a year now. Okay, so the business was incorporated in May 2023. Really started taking on our first leads by July, and it was around September that everything started to roll. But now we're creating a sales qualified lead a day. And that is any kind of like SMB, lower mid-market. Those are a lot of the customers that come in. Think of founder-led organizations all the way to early stage PE, venture-backed businesses that have resourcing issues, time, money, energy, and they need help offshoring all these details in sales and marketing. So with that, I'm going to share my screen and talk candidly about how we create leads. Now, I have a first principle. I'm going to tell you a story before we begin this. Sales for Life. Sales for Life, my first company, my first agency, was rooted in inbound lead generation at its core. By year 4, we were creating a sales qualified lead a day of the global enterprise. Okay, so literally every day, a Microsoft, an Oracle, an Intel, a Thomson Reuters became a sales qualified lead. That's what an SQL is. Went into our pipeline. We were winning somewhere probably between 25 and 33%, right? And what we did is we continued to crank up prices, kept our conversions were fairly steady, but we went from $20,000 deals to $100,000 deals over those years. Now, in the creation of that business, my big regret is that we waited years and years to plant the trees of other sources. Channel, we got half pregnant, meaning we really didn't focus on it properly. We had very much a Pareto's Principle. We had a few partners we had one partner that generated literally $1 million in commissions from us. The next partner, maybe $100,000. So it was wildly inconsistent. Secondly, we did not have an outbound motion. We did not prospect as a sales organization. This was very much a founder-led sales organization that drove primarily inbound. But it showed up on the P&L because our marketing budget was $800,000 a year. Like, it was huge. Next business did the opposite. So when I started Pipeline Signals, it's like attacking ship. When you are failing doing one thing, you say to yourself, okay, that's it. I am going to wildly divert the other way. We didn't turn on a marketing team at first. What we did is develop outbound. And the outbound was really great. We were using our own signals. So we were looking for job change alerts of all the customers of Sales for Life that would up and leave and go to other businesses. We're using our own product of signals. Watching them go to a new business, we'd reach out via LinkedIn and email. Meeting. Tons and tons of meetings. Outbound. Problem is we didn't plant the tree of inbound till year 1.5. Big regret. You can turn on inbound in 30 days. Now, a lot of you can turn on outbound, in 30 days. A lot of outbound success also then is highly correlated to the brand awareness, reach, and reputation that you create inbound, but you can at least turn it on. Inbound is truly like planting a tree. Content marketing is planted today to serve my 2025. There is no video that I am making right now that you're watching and you say, that's it, I'm becoming a customer tomorrow. That just doesn't happen like that. So I regretted not planting that tree in parallel. So Third business, get leverage. Planted the trees, even distribution. And from $0 to $3 million, my experience of building agencies, you do not know what resonates. You don't know if it's going to be inbound, if it's going to be channel partners, referral, outbound prospecting, what it's going to be. So I'm going to now share my screen. Let's do this. And I'll talk it through here on Instagram. But let me share my screen and give you the conversion rates by source in order of operations. The number one source for Get Leverage, it has one of the lower volumes, but the highest conversion is marketing. And I split marketing into two buckets. Organic. In the history of the business, 87% of all sales qualified leads have now turned into customers. Why? And this is really important for those of you watching. There used to be a statistic when I was teaching prospecting and social selling that the Challenger Sale wrote in their book, 57% of the buying journey is being done without us. Okay. By COVID, Gartner updated that statistic by 80, it's like 80%. And in fact, they have this great chart that shows that 83% of a journey is completely done without the sellers, and 17% would have some form of connectivity or conversation with sellers during a journey. It's like that. Literally, think of it as exactly like golf. Everybody tries to practice their driver, but the driver makes up something like 11% or 15 or 17% of the whole golf game. Focus in on what makes up 50%, which is putting, which for most of how you're going to generate leads is content. So 87% of my deals convert. 87% go from sales qualified lead to customer. Why? Because they consume many, many pieces of content. Blogs, newsletters, podcasts, LinkedIn Lives, or LinkedIn Lives that I'll do spontaneously, LinkedIn Lives that are scheduled, ebooks, free resources, like putting ourselves out there, being on other people's podcasts. It's all part of the organic. Now, another piece to this is paid. Now, if you've been following Get Leverage, you'll notice that we've just started paid. We haven't won a customer from it. We've definitely booked a bunch of meetings from it. So as a snowball rolling down a hill, can't wait to see, some machinery where leads are converting and deals. Like, I can't wait. That's an entire world that I'm not used to, that business partners are bringing in to teach paid media. So next order of operation, customer upsell and cross-sell. Now, I'm going to caveat this. It has a 50% sales qualified lead to close ratio to conversion ratio. Now, we're a new business. So as a new business, we have 6 products. Within each product, there's multiple packages. And then there's kind of tasks and processes and features within each product that people kind of like to cross-pollinate. The reason I bring this up is we've got quite a balance of customers that are between marketing support as a service, sales support as a service, digital prospector, virtual assistant as a service. But what happens is inevitably somebody starts maybe with marketing support as a service. Hey, can you help us launch a newsletter? Can you help us post content on social media? And then they start working with us and they say, you know what? I, as the founder, am checking my emails and calendar too much. Can you help with virtual assistant? So there's this cross-selling. And then with digital prospector, there's what's called upselling. They start with one seller who we're prospecting for on LinkedIn, and they say, well, let's add a second, and let's add a third, and so forth. Now, because we're a new business, we're just starting to cross NRR 100%, which means we are now getting more revenue generated from our existing core customer than losing in a month. So the net new is just a bundle on top. And that's the ultimate dream of a recurring revenue business, where each month there's an upsell and cross-sell that overtakes anyone that ends up leaving. So ultimately it piles on. But when you're new, you don't have a real good baseline because it's just recently that there's upsells and cross-sells. It's like a new motion that we're developing a strength around. That'll kind of show itself in a few years. Next after that is referrals. From a referral standpoint, there's 3 different buckets. There's channel referrals, We now have something called the Ambassadors Club. We've developed channel partners that make a recurring revenue commission from introducing us to their customers. These are sales consultants, sales trainers, marketing consultants. They are consultants that work with founders, and they see these founders and these sales and marketing organizations flounder around with projects that sit on the shelf, or they're doing $5 an hour tasks, and you say, you've got to cut some of these operating expenses that you have, and or you want to launch some of these initiatives. Let's get you going. So channel partners give referrals. The next are customers that give us referrals to some of their friends' businesses. And the last are just general referrals. People on my social network, and this almost ties to content marketing, see us and they say, I think you got to go talk to Get Leverage. That's converting at 50% sales qualified lead to conversion rate, to deal conversion. The next is sales outbound. Sales outbound, we use one primary driver. It's our own product called Digital Prospector. That is the prospecting as me on LinkedIn to have conversations with yourselves, founders, co-founders, chief revenue officers, chief marketing officers. And there could be more of a hard sell, like, hey, we should talk about a particular program, all the way to invites to live events or virtual events or kind of nurture sequences. But that outbound prospecting through LinkedIn is converting 42% of sales qualified leads to close. Again, it takes a lot of conversations to generate a lead. That's just reality of sales prospecting. But when a lead comes in, it is somebody that has self-identified. Yeah, you've struck a chord. I do have this problem. Let's talk. The last, at the same conversion of 42%, are live events. We're starting to do live, and I bucket in live events, conferences that I go to. So investments in conferences, walk the shop floor, shake some hands. Number two, communities, like being part of an EO or Collective 54 or these founder or sales groups where you come together in these live events, you shake hands, you meet people. And then the final is our own events. We've been doing quarterly live event meetups with founders, and inevitably a few deals trickle out from these live events. So I wanted to be wildly transparent. The reason that I'm sharing all of this is it answers a question that I frequently get, which is, how are you creating your leads? It is not one channel. And it's amazing how much one channel is connected to the next. Specifically, I would say if all of it were a tree and branches come off of a tree of different channels, like different fruits coming off the branches, the soil, the trunk, the whole base is always content marketing. Without this, without being wildly transparent and sharing best practices, pitfalls, challenges, all the things that's going on in the market, it is very difficult for people to trust you, because it all begins on that social proof, and it all begins when people are doing research online. The content sits online, whether it's YouTube or LinkedIn or Google searches. This is the base, and all the other branches spin out from that. So I hope you found this valuable. I wanted to share that with you. These conversions will change, as we become more mature. Typically, you start to increase prices, and as you do that, you monitor how conversions change. But right now, this is from 0 to 1, and then soon 1 to 3. This is the playbook: is create balance. Measure if there's a limb that is completely useless, cut it off. Let's say, as an example, it was running your own live events, which can get expensive. The return isn't there. You say, these were great. It's a great test, but you cut it off. But not testing it, not trying it. It's kind of like not doing content marketing, not doing a podcast, not doing a newsletter, not doing LinkedIn Lives, not doing webinars, not writing ebooks. You're just not planting deep enough roots in the soil to be able to withstand headwinds and tailwinds. So I hope you found this valuable. You take care. Happy Friday.